What's going on, everybody? Just wait. I don't know if I'm live or. Here we go. There we go. We are live. And welcome, folks, to My Political Truth. And my name is Jerry Tomchinsky, and I'm really happy to have you guys here. Needless to say, there is a lot to talk about today. It is the day that we've been waiting for a very long time. It is the first presidential debate. All of the talking is done. All of the, the analysis, that's finished. And it's time to go to work. And when I say go to work, I kind of mean that for the Biden team, honestly. They really need to show what the hell Mr. Biden is bringing to the table. And I'm sorry, but I just don't think it's a lot. So let's get into it. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the time for the crap talking is over. It's time to perform. The time has come. President Trump and the Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden will go toe-to-toe tonight at the Case Western Reserve University and Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio. Fox News' Chris Wallace will moderate, and he has identified 6 topics from coronavirus to the economy. Now, I have been outspoken, so to speak, in what I think is going to happen. And what I think is going to happen is that I thought what I thought was going to happen was that that Joe Biden was going to bow out and not do what he's supposed to do. And find an excuse or use COVID or do whatever to get out of it. And that still hasn't happened. But now we got other things going on, folks. We got other things going on. Just about an hour ago, we got breaking news. They already had a request, the Biden campaign. They want a break every 30 minutes. So it's a 90-minute debate. That would be 2 breaks. The Trump team has already declined it, rightfully so. They declined it, and Trump's representative said, quote, "Our guy gives 90-minute speeches every day. We don't need a 30-minute. We don't need a break every 30 minutes." Hey, Kim, yes, tonight's the night. I saw you say yesterday that this debate is your Super Bowl. Well, I think it's a lot of people's Super Bowl. This has a lot more impact than the Super Bowl. I mean, it's 2 completely different things, but yes, tonight is a political Super Bowl. And it's going to be gloves off. It's going to be disgusting, honestly. There's absolutely no way to hide that. It's going to be hands off. It's going to be grimy. It's going to be just not. It's not going to be civil. Let's say that. My brother chimes in. What's up, Eric? He says he can't back out now. That would be suicide for his campaign. It would be suicide if he would have backed out at any time. But I think these requests are suicide. The breaks every 30 minutes. And then you got this great one. There was a story released last week that Joe Biden got pinched using a skin-colored listening device. So the Trump campaign said, can we inspect for electronic devices? The Biden campaign has declined permission to let the Trump campaign or any official, forget about the Trump campaign. Where are the debate officials is what I want to know. My brother said you can't back out of a fight last minute. You know that. You can't back out of a fight, period. But Joe Biden and this entire season and this entire year has not been what you would call typical. Right before I came on, I read something that the Texas governor is declaring some kind of emergency because there has been a brain-eating amoeba found in the drinking water in Texas. So it just keeps on, the fun keeps on coming. It keeps on happening. It's good times this year. I'm ready for this year to be over, honestly. So I kind of put my disdain for Joe Biden aside and try to do this analysis as fairly as I can. All right? So, in my opinion, here are the strategies for both sides. And I'll start with President Trump because for me, it's easy. I think it's the economy. I think that's his strongest suit. He needs to remind voters immediately, hey, Ma, welcome. He needs to remind voters who are, I guess you would say, in a lamestream media / COVID-19 sort of haze, and remind them about the unprecedented economic growth of the first 3 years of his presidency. That is the absolute place that President Trump can and will shine. I think he needs to refrain from the personal insults. But understand this. There's a difference between personal insults and pulling out personal information that is actually true and bringing it to the forefront. Joe Biden's not going to want to talk about Hunter Biden today and the fact that Joe Biden's brother James and his wife Sarah benefited from Biden being vice president. He's not going to want to talk about any of that. The fake news media is going to say that it is complete, that Trump is trying to insult him. By bringing facts out, it's not an insult. What they do to President Trump on a daily basis on the Communist News Network, on MSLSD, that's insulting. Kerry says Biden is going to have a Nadler on stage. Yeah, he will. He will, and I hope everybody knows what we're talking about. I don't know. I could see him... This is a must watch. This is an absolute must watch today. So I was reading this guy Brett O'Donnell. He's a GOP debate coach. He coached Bush, the younger Bush. He coached Mitt Romney. He coached a bunch of others. And what he says, and I kind of tend to take this at his word, but he says, quote, if the president sticks to talking about the economy, he has a distinct advantage. He built an economy that was, by all accounts, one of the greatest in the last few decades. I mean, anybody that wasn't sleepwalking through the Obama-Biden presidency know that Obama and Biden were a train wreck. They systematically destroyed and sold this country out. Make no mistake about that. Listen, as unbiased as I'm trying to be right now, make no mistake about it. They sold this country out. You know, I also think that President Trump tonight, he needs to be forward-looking. He needs to kind of speak about what he's going to do, how he's going to bring the economy back to where it was. Honestly, us Trump supporters, we're on board. We're on board. I was speaking to somebody last night, and I think this is a realistic number in my mind. I think about 2% of American voters, not the American public, of American registered and likely voters have not decided who they're going to vote for yet. And I think that 2% is who 45 and Biden are shooting for tonight. I don't think that 2% is going to matter. If this election is done fairly, I think it's going to be a landslide on President Trump's side. I just don't think it's going to be done fairly. Eric chimes in, under over 16 Under over 16 sentences, Joe Biden says, make absolutely zero sense. I'm going to have to go with the over. How many times is he going to say, come on, man? How many times is he going to say, look or listen? He's going to start out all of his sentence, look, 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 look. That's what he does. How many times he's going to say that? Let's see how many times Trump says fantastic, bigly, the Trumpisms. I mean, there's so much to look for. We could have a drinking game by how many times Joe Biden says, look. I think we'd be trashed by, 10 minutes into the debate. So, again, I want to go back to what President Trump needs to stick on. If he sits and stays on the economy, the numbers are on his side. No matter what New York Slimes and the fake news media, the mainstream news try to do, the facts are on President Trump's side. Now, let's talk about this new little Fugazi revelation that we had on by the New York Times about President Trump's taxes. They released that strictly for the illiterates. Kerry says, I have a drinking game already. Yep. Sandy chimes in with, I predict that Trump will somehow piss him off and he's going to fly across the stage to try to hit him. I really do. Sandy, you know what? This year, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. Absolutely nothing is out of the realm of possibility. Richard chimes in, just say on his accomplishments, period. I agree. Rich, I agree 110%. If President Trump sticks to his accomplishments and sticks to everything that he's done positive for this country, there's nothing that half-dead Joe could say. But with the way that the left has ambushed President Trump from the very beginning and lied and broke the law and spied, I mean, can you blame him for being a little bit, wound up a little bit too tight? I can't. I give him a lot of credit. I wouldn't be able to handle what he's handled. He gets constant barrage of nonsense from the left. Constant lies, new lies every day. Joe Biden has the most pressure-free and stress-free campaign I've ever seen in my life. He gets praised for completing a paragraph. Have you ever seen this before? Do you remember the DNC speech? That was the most elementary, adolescent, unskilled speech I have seen from a presidential candidate in my entire 41 years of life. And they were on CNN and MSNBC saying he was spectacular. No, he wasn't. He just seemed just barely literate. Just barely literate. His acceptance speech was all of 24 minutes long. President Trump was just shy of 2 hours. Joe Biden has nothing to say because he doesn't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it. Have you seen him or Kamala? Have you seen them out answering questions? They haven't answered questions because they don't have policies. They don't have anything to stand on. Now, I want to go back to what I started a few minutes ago about this nonsensical article in the New York Slimes about President Trump's taxes. This is, like I said, they released this article for the illiterates, for the ones that can't translate as they read and can't understand while they're reading. If you read between the lines, it's very clear. So the claim is that President Trump paid only $750 in federal taxes in 2016 and 2017. It's a complete lie, which was disproven in the same story. If you go ahead and read what they said, it was disproven in the same story. This is a quote directly from the article. It says, Trump paid, as in transferred to the U.S. Treasury, $1 million in 2016 and $4.2 million in 2017. Also, most of the overpayment was rolled forward, not refunded. The $750 figure is an additional $750. So every story and every pundit and every fake journalist on TV saying that he only paid $750 is lying. They're blatantly lying. Look at the timing of the story. I mean, if you have common sense, you understand these things. Released 2 days before the first presidential debate. Do you remember the story back in 2016? I mean, how could we all forget? The NBC, the Billy Bush grab him by the kitty cat story. That was released the day before the third debate with Hillary. Do you think there's not a reason? Do you think there's not collusion going on here, for lack of a better term? Honestly. 2 days before the first presidential debate, we get this nonsensical story. Complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. I asked this in a post yesterday, and I kind of want an answer to this. I'm less concerned about President Trump's tax situation than I am in knowing how Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Jerry Nadler, Andrew Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, the list goes on and on and on and on. I want to know how they all became multi-millionaires on a salary of under $200,000 a year. Tell me that. Explain to me how Nancy Pelosi is worth just shy of $180 million when she's been making $175,000 a year. Let's go back to some comments. Eric says, the highlight of this entire thing was when Joe Biden waved in an empty tarmac. That was phenomenal. He comes off the plane and there's literally nobody there and he's waving. This is who they're supporting. These are their people. Rich says, I would love to have his accountant tax people. It's all legal. Of course it's legal. It's absolutely legal. Let me go into what I think Joe Biden's strategy is going to be. It's basically he's going to go on the offense because he doesn't know anything else. He doesn't know anything else. He has nothing else. What did Nancy Pelosi say? They have arrows in the quiver. No, they don't. No, they don't. They have nothing. They have less than nothing. They said there are numerous ways that they could stop this confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. No, there aren't. There absolutely are. There's zero ways. There's not a single way that they could stop this confirmation other than trying to delay the vote. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Chuck Schumer comes out and Senator Hirono from Hawaii comes out. Oh, I'm not going to even meet with her. Who cares? Who cares? Chuck, nobody cares. You can't even go out and do a press conference in public without citizens screaming at you that you're full of it. Stop lying to the people. They can't do anything outside. Anything with the public, the Democrats cannot do. You notice Joe Biden's little speeches to an empty room of 4 reporters when all of them have the questions ready to go. And he knows exactly what they're going to ask. This is a joke. The entire campaign for Joe Biden is a joke. And Kamala, she's a bigger joke. So Biden, you guys have noticed he's put a lid on his day every day for the last, 4 or 5 days. It's because they've been locking him in that same basement and making him do rehearsals, I guess. He's going to have 5 or 6 lines that he's going to constantly repeat all night. He doesn't know any facts. He doesn't know how long he's been in the Senate, let alone what Trump's done. Who was it? It was Tom Friedman, the ridiculously stupid journalist for the New York Times that said that he doesn't think that Joe Biden should debate President Trump because Joe Biden is going to spend the entire time correcting President Trump's lies. Joe Biden couldn't correct his spelling, let alone President Trump, and any of the facts that he chooses to say. Does he exaggerate? Sure. Show me a politician that doesn't exaggerate and I'll call you a liar right to your face. Nobody has a problem with CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, Washington Post, all those trash media outlets, they have no problem with them lying. With every story they tell, with every word they put in print. There's no problem with that. There's no problem with that. But the fact that President Trump goes on and he might exaggerate something by 1 million or 2 million, does it really matter when you're talking about tens of millions or hundreds of millions? If President Trump says, well, the unemployment was at 8 million instead of 10 million, who cares? The fact remains that President Trump managed to get the lowest unemployment rate through any demographic in the history of our country, including the African American community, which had its lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. Richard says, oh, Biden is just going to blame everything on our president. And of course, he doesn't have anything else. Nutty Nancy said she wants to decide the election in the House. Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. She can say whatever she wants. The House is becoming very tired of Nancy. Very tired of Nancy and her BS comments. Nobody cares what Nancy has to say. She's out of her mind. She's completely lost the plot. So, Joe Biden's basically what he's going to do, and mark my words, he's going to attack, hey Lucy, welcome. He's going to attack President Trump's quote unquote coronavirus response. He's going to attack healthcare, and he's going to attack President Trump's issues of character. That's all he has. I could be wrong, but I don't see it going any other way. I don't see it going any other way. Now, here are some questions I kind of posed to myself, I guess. I wanted to kind of put it in a way where, what do people look for? Regular people look for when they're looking at a debate. So, and how it's going to come out on both sides and how they're both going to present. Now, my number one question, and if you guys remember back in 2012, Mitt Romney absolutely obliterated Obama in the first debate when Obama was going for re-election. And they call it the sitting president first debate slump. You could throw that out the window. President Trump will not have a slump. He is fired up. He's been waiting for an opportunity to be able to be televised on CNN and MSNBC without being doctored, edited, and commented on. So he's going to get a chance to be live on these channels because, believe it or not, they don't even carry his rallies at all. They pick and choose certain things that he says, and then they attack him based on one or two sentences from an hour and a half speech that he delivered. My next question is, will Joe Biden come across competently? Now, it's no secret that President Trump and his campaign have been trying to paint Joe Biden as incompetent. Joe Biden has done a very, very good job of painting himself as incompetent. My problem with this, and I think I've seen a lot of people start gravitating to this, this outlook on everything. I think that President Trump isn't doing himself any favors by doing this. I think there's tremendous risk in this approach because, like I said with the DNC speech, when Biden completes a sentence, they go nuts. They go nuts like it's the best thing that's ever happened. So attacking his mental acuity, yeah, I get it. It has to happen because he's an imbecile. He's not there anymore. And the fact that he won't step down and his family won't step in and stop this elder abuse from happening, I'm sorry. You leave yourself wide open for this kind of criticism, and you deserve it. You deserve it. Kim says, and his haters find nothing wrong with that. No, not at all. To them, it's all, it's all kosher. It's all kosher. Now, this touches on what Sandy said earlier. Can President Trump and Biden control their tempers and their tone? Now, listen, there's a very high likelihood that this will become a very aggressive debate. with Biden trying to incite President Trump and his record, or in their minds, a lack thereof. And we have no idea, honestly. This is all speculation. We have no idea what President Trump is going to pull out. But both of them do have a tendency to come off as angry. Biden more so than President Trump. And that, a lot of people are saying that has to do with, that's one of the symptoms of dementia, senility. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has been losing his temper for a very long time. It's got nothing to do with his lack of mental presence. He's been losing his temper for a very, very long time. Make no mistake about it. I expect President Trump to poke him as much as possible, and I do think that Biden will lose his temper because he's not all there. Because he's not all there, he doesn't have all control of his faculties. So that's why, I think he might lose his temper and he might Nadler himself on national TV. But who knows? Next question. How does President Trump defend his record? From the coronavirus pandemic and race relations to replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg at the Supreme Court and his tax returns. Believe it or not, these 90 minutes are going to fly by because there's going to be attacks, there's going to be nonsense, it's going to be just complete garbage. So far, President Trump continues to be down in the polls. Who gives a crap? We all saw what happened in the polls 4 years ago. It's all BS. It's all BS. I don't care what any of these polls said. They, out of all the people, say they polled 1,000 people, about 700 of them are going to be registered Democrats. So it's all BS. It's all BS. Forget about the polls. It's nonsense. He received 46% in 2016 and lost the popular vote by 3 million votes. It's possible with how the Electoral College votes are allocated that Trump wins again but loses the popular vote by even more. Or he wins both the Electoral College and the popular vote. I don't think that there are enough people that are that stupid. That stupid. And if there are, I'll be very disappointed in the country. Rich pops in another major F up in Michigan with ballot harvesting with an Biden handler. Arrests made. Wow, I haven't seen this yet. Fantastic. We got the Ilhan Omar thing that Project Veritas exposed and that I posted on my YouTube. Check that out. With that journalist O'Keefe did an entire expose. And Ilhan Omar and her cronies are involved in ballot harvesting and a cash for votes scheme. Forget about that. I'm going to get more into that tomorrow or the next day because this is all debate related. We're going to talk about that ballot harvesting tomorrow. It's completely out of control. The fact that the left is pretending like this isn't happening and not covering it will resonate on November 3rd. I promise you that. The same way that they did not acknowledge the violence coast to coast until a couple of weeks ago, that damaged them. This is going to damage them as well. Yeah, Alyssa is in the room. Welcome. Oh my God, another issue. Yeah, it doesn't stop. I said this a couple of minutes ago, Alyssa, that Joe Biden doesn't wake up the same way as President Trump. He doesn't have to wake up and wonder what new lies are going to be told about him. He doesn't have to wonder how the mainstream media is going to tear his name up because they don't. They don't. They're all in cahoots. All of them. All of them. How does Biden respond to personal attacks? That's the next thing. I think President Trump needs to make Biden an unacceptable choice rather than letting this election continue to be a referendum on him. He needs to turn this around and flip it on Biden. Biden is in no way an acceptable or competent choice. One way President Trump is likely to do that and pivot from his own record is to go after Biden's son, like I mentioned before. Where's Hunter? Who knows what the president has up his sleeve? He is always a master of surprises. Remember, this is the same person who brought to a debate women who accused Bill Clinton of sexual misconduct and tried to seat them in Hillary Clinton's line of view. How Biden responds to what President Trump is going to do is very important for him. And finally, How does the moderator control the stage? How does the moderator control the stage? I think that is I think that's a great question. Um, I think that Chris Wallace is suited very well to moderate this. I would think he would be perfect if he wasn't such a liberal shill. That small little point, nothing trivial. Unbelievable, man. I mean, just like his father, he's the same. He's a liberal shill. He's going to I think he's going to take it easy on the follow ups with Biden. Watch how hard he goes at Trump with the follow ups. So, listen, other than him being a liberal shill, Wallace is incisive. He's a tough questioner. He's always prepared. I can't say anything about that. He's prepared. Check out his interview with President Trump. He bombarded him with questions, and President Trump had answers to all of them. President Trump has to watch out for Wallace pouncing on him. I mean, we all know that that's going to happen. If that happens and President Trump kind of doesn't expect it or he's caught off balance, he may lose support with people who are on the fence, that 2% that I was talking about. Now, that goes, the same for Biden. If he doesn't react well to Chris Wallace's questions, I think he's as good as buried. He's already dead. I mean, tonight will show us a lot. Obviously, I'm going to be live streaming the debate for the entirety starting at 9 p.m. Guys, this is really important. This is going to be must-watch TV. Cannot miss this. It's going to be a good time. The surprises are going to be huge. I think President Trump is going to win bigly. And finally, from Richard, the silent majority will raise up again on November 3rd. Without a doubt in my mind, Rich, I think that everybody that is supporting President Trump needs to stand up, grab all of their friends who are voting for President Trump, and all go to the voting booths together, because we need to show up in numbers and take this election. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. 30 minutes flies by. I promise you 90 minutes is going to fly by tonight at the debate. So join me tomorrow. I usually don't do anything on Wednesdays, but I will tomorrow because we need to talk about this. I'm going to talk about the ballot harvesting. And Rich, I'm going to check out that news story about, I guess there was an arrest made in Michigan. So let's check that out. Guys, enjoy the debate. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Trump 2020. Enjoy the rest of your day.